Hello everyone and welcome to Mordheim Madness Season 1. My name is Karond and we are here in Group F and the second game of Group F, as Kid Pa has already played JoJo's. And with this game we will have Slaviour and Dryzz introducing themselves to the tournament. Slaviour will be playing as the Undead, Dryzz as the Skaven. We'll be looking at the Quay side and we're gonna follow the game from Slaviour's perspective. It's gonna be an interesting game, hopefully. I hope it won't be too one-sided. Slaviour is one of the tournament favorites and Dryzz is one of the newcomers and unranked, and we will see what kind of opposition he can put up. But we will hope for an interesting game. Quayside has lots of choke points in it and it's a close fought map with lots of elevation and a little bit of tunnels, and I think we can expect an interesting game here. So let's jump into the game and get going. So here we are, Night Love versus Whispers. We see that there is a little bit of a difference, 400 in rating. We have War on the Water from the battles underway and both roads already engaged around the map. This is really interesting. We're gonna see a fast-paced game here. And the 400 difference in rating, I assume that's because of a rat ogre turning up. We will see. We see that Slaviour has a little bit of a morale advantage, but it's not much, just 4 points, 186, 182. He expressed this sucks, but I don't think so. This is really interesting. I think this is fun. We have had so many games already where we end up each player deploying on the opposite field and there is just range dominating the game, and this turns everything on its head. This is why we love random games. We see that it's not really that all of the units are actually engaged at the start. You have a few units that are not starting engaged. I think it's 3 or something like that, and the rest of them start engaged with someone else. And in this case it's actually a bit of a drawback to have a higher initiative. In a way, since you deploy them first and then your opponent can match all of the units up to whoever they want, even though they don't start with the attacks. Very interesting and fun game. I love the Quay side. War on the waterfront. Do you see a red circle? Saw it over there. Yeah, it means someone is already deployed there. And there we see the rat ogre, and it's Slaviour's time to deploy his units. Neither of the players seems to appreciate this, but I think we do. It means for me that I'm not gonna do any live editing in this particular game. Yeah, never played this kind of deployment before. This is new. This is actually what's fun about it. That since we have the store map missions throughout the gameplay is set to none, so you don't have any of these wacky details or scenarios of the maps. You can just enjoy it for what it is. The assassin leader gonna deploy against a warp guard from Slaviour. Yeah, I don't want the ranged Glubadier to start a battle with the rat ogres. Yeah, some of your units do really start engaged, but not all of them. A few of them. 5 or 7 or something like that. You have to excuse the bottom right corner here where it says XSplit and XSplit Gamecasters, because I was actually not recording this game. I was sent this game by Slaviour, and this is the first time I watched it and cast it. And so since he doesn't have a license and records in an odd way, this is what we get. And I minimized his picture a little bit so it would fit into the overlay that we see here. Otherwise I could have done a full screen, but I felt it was good to be coherent. And we have a Dark Soul deploying against the Rat Ogre. Dryzz is right about one thing: this really does suck for range units. In a way, there are some spots where I think you have 2 or 3 spots where you're not actually starting engaged with someone, but you do start pretty close. And this turns everything on its heel. Like, imagine all of these support warbands that need all of their units to be together, and they're sort of screwed in this, and you have to take that into account. You can't rely overly too much on range and support. You need to have some melee units as well, and you need to be able to focus a bit on initiative and all of those kind of things that make Mordheim so random and so fun to play. See 2 Globadiers here by Dryzz. And I don't think any of those start engaged with anyone, so 67 to 80, that's Warplock pistols for both of them, so 2 ranged units. Zombie here by Slaviour. Let's see where he puts it. All of these spots that you see for the deployment, he has to fill all of them. So it's all about figuring out where he wants to put other units. Like in that tunnel over there, he has to put a unit there. He has to put one everywhere here, so you can't avoid any spot. I think it's a little bit different for Dryzz, maybe? I'm not really sure. I don't think he might not have actually gotten a choice of where to place the Rat Ogre. There's usually a very limited amount of spots where you can place impressives. Yeah, both of the players don't seem to really enjoy this kind of game, but we'll see. You have to embrace it. At least this is not gonna be a 3-hour game. Necromancer is also a bit ranged, and we do see a Warp Guard here deploying pretty close to them, ready to pounce in. But it doesn't have very high initiative. It's going to be a few of all of Dryzz's heroes and the impressive moving first, and then all of Slaviour's units, and then all of the henchmen by Dryzz. Yeah, both players don't really like this map, but it's fun for the viewers, and this is what you have to calculate with. You can't just expect to have many games where you're separate from each other and move from building to building and doing very slow kind of push towards one another. Oh, it's a good firing spot against a zombie. Do you want to attack some? The thing with Warplock pistols is that they have this warp ammo, which if you fail a poison resistance test against them, you get -6 melee resistance and -6 range resistance for a whole turn. And zombies are immune to that, as are the Vampire Thrall and the Vampire. So if there is a better target, fire at that. You do want to hit something that's not engaged, not that Dark Soul for instance. Maybe you can fire into the tunnel here. Yeah, he seems to be able to. Just gonna start firing down this Vampire Thrall. That's a good choice, I think. The only thing I'm worried about is I hope that he doesn't stay there, because he will be trapped against the vampire thrall when she comes out. So I hope he moves away. Half dead. If the other Globadier goes down there, she might die. Seems to be doing just that. Could be a interesting opening here. Slaviour the favorite might suffer a hero death early on. I'm not sure actually the damage is enough. Will she live? Yeah. I think she might, at least from the Globadier. See, all of this poison resistance fails doesn't do anything since the vampire thrall is immune. So there is no extra hit chance for the Globadiers. And I don't like that one of the Globadiers actually stood there and he's trapped. Whenever the vampire thrall comes out there, she can quickly kill him. So I think that's a bit of a mistake. Yeah, I think that's a double mistake probably. See Daredevil here being used. Daredevil is a very nice skill. Black Hunger, plus 40% damage, and bypasses a lot of dodge and parry. It's a very common combination for Rat Doggers. They almost all of them have it. Daredevil and Black Hunger. Might see the Dark Soul. Yeah, he's almost dead here. Ah, this is cool. So it's an order assassin. He has just one other order, and that Dark Soul goes down. And we see Dryzz taking the lead here, killing off one henchman and nearly killing off a hero. Pretty good start. Dark Soul is down. Going to mastered sidestep with a few red pillars still remaining. Well, Crimson Shade wouldn't do anything. Well, it wouldn't get ahead. Taking off one of the dodge attempts here, two more. Disengaging, alright. Probably wants to keep the Rat Dogger under control here, so he doesn't run rampant into any kind of target. Also see the zombie here in front, probably going to go down to the Globadiers who are stuck against the wall and water on the water front. Dodge or parry, should really go into dodge here. Yeah, parry won't actually do anything since the bracers of the Rat Dogger bypasses parry entirely. But on the other hand, if you're gonna use Daredevil and Black Hunger, then you'll give a free dodge anyway, so entering a dodge sense also doesn't actually have an effect. Actually, let's Let's bring up Daredevil and take a look here a bit. Increases melee damage by 125%. It's off the base damage, so it depends on the weapon. And each melee attack triggers a free dodge attempt for the target, so it doesn't really matter if you are... oh, we see a flea here, trying to reposition herself. So it doesn't matter if you're in a sidestep or a dodge anyway when you're facing Daredevil, they don't add up, so if you're in a dodge stance, you're not going to get 2 dodge attempts against the Daredevil user. However, if you're in a parry and you're facing someone with Daredevil, you are actually going to get first a parry and then a free dodge attempt right afterwards. Of course, against the Rat Dog it doesn't matter since they ignore parry attempts. But still. Doesn't quite make it into the fight here, probably wants to free up his big vampire against the Skaven here. Seems to have Daredevil available to him. And lots of blue consumables. But I kinda like the Dryzz teams here so far. He's slightly in the lead and it does look like he has put a lot of effort into this warband. He's a newcomer. But he seems to have a maximized warband with some heavy artillery to it. I don't spot any blue items or blue armor or under-leveled units as we usually do with newcomers. So this is good. Let's see, one of the Globadiers here. He has headshot available to him. See that? Does he want to? You see it, he's having the resistances tab up, so you can see the stun resistance of each of his opponents. See if it's worth throwing a headshot at them. I might be suffering from a trapper, but I think he's going for the... That was the reason he disengaged from the assassin here. He's going for... Exhaustion is gonna help him with that. He's going for the assassin. He's going for the assassin leader here. I could also go for the Rat Dogger, but 60% stun resistance, still pretty good here. Mark of Dismay. Also a good combination with the Undead Warband, minus 12% all alone fear and terror resistance. And Dryzz is stunned. Kinda like Headshot. Headshot is a very powerful ability in PvP. Let's actually bring that up and see here. Range that aim at the head that deals regular damage with a minus 15% if the hit target is stunned unless they pass the stun resistance check. And we saw that he passed the first one and failed the second one. The part there when it said that aimed at the head is actually pretty important. I love the little details that they've done with the game, Rogue Factor, which is that you can't actually use the headshot unless you see the head of your enemy. And I like details like that. It's the same thing with hand shot. You can't do a hand shot unless you see the hand of your enemy. Not worth charging in here. Failing Call of Van Hell, which is a very popular spell for... But I don't think this actually does anything, does it? Let's bring up that as well, let's take a look. Increased movement by 4 and armor absorption by 30% for zombies, but he's buffing the vampires here and they get plus 20 initiative and plus 20 dodge chance, but they do seem to be in heavy armor. And the initiative going from 57 or 63 plus 20 is not gonna help them anything. Corpse Flesh is also pretty good. We can bring that up as well. Let's have a look here. Increases critical and poison resistance by 30% and armor percent absorption by 10%, which is the most important thing here. They're already immune to poison resistance. So yeah, look at these two Globadiers. They're so trapped. This is such a big mistake by Dryzz. I think he's gonna lose both of these heroes. And the worst thing is that it's a zombie and probably the vampire thrall is going out there as well. Unless she wants to go the way around in the tunnel, come up sneaking behind. But whatever it is, these two units are trapped and they are poison immune, so you can't use the poison globe to try and whittle them down as you're trying to fend off the attacks in melee here. Can probably do some wicked damage here to this stunned assassin. It's really critical actually to kill him if he can. Yeah. Maybe the vampire or someone is coming here, because otherwise he would just have gone in and used adrenaline rush for 3 attacks, would have done more damage. But it's critical to get rid of the assassin leader, because if he's an order assassin, that will multiply the kind of power that the Rat Ogre has, and getting rid of him early will severely diminish the Rat Ogre's combat potential. It's always like that whenever you have an impressive and an order leader. If you get rid of the leader, they are so weak and vulnerable. It's even more so when it's a Magister or someone that really buffs them up. Yeah. Going to disengage them. Seems to have that idea, Slaviour. So going straight for the assassin leader. It's no need to try and attack all of the Warp Guard tanks. They can't really do anything, they're just there to hold people up. 51 would be the minimum damage, and that was exactly what was needed. We see a leader, the leader is down for Dryzz, and one of the henchmen is down for Slaviour so far. Technically 1-1, but yes, the Vampire Thrall is almost dead. However, the trapped position of both of those Globadiers does not mean well here. This is on a disadvantage with Terror, I think, that if you go in there and if Manu here had succeeded at his Terror test, he would have been immune when it was his turn. So he didn't have to take it then, but now he has to take the test when it is his turn, and then he could succeed at it and then he doesn't suffer anything. Terror is much better when you're being attacked and moved into, rather than you're moving into someone else. Most of the time. These two tanky henchmen dueling it out. They're gonna need a tiebreaker, they're gonna be there for 15 turns. Probably have good parry chances, both of them. Well, there's a spear for the Warp Guard, so he does bypass a little bit of that still. So the precise strike here, you can actually bring that up too and have a look. Melee attack to these regular damage target has a minus 25% chance to parry or dodge this attack, so he might actually do a little bit more damage eventually as we move on. It's guaranteed damage. It's not much damage, but it's guaranteed damage. Kidney Strike. I like Kidney Strike. Usually best when you're surrounding an enemy. It reduces your melee resistance by 15%, 12% if it's mastered. I can bring that up too. There we go. Doesn't really do anything, Kidney Strike, if you don't have another target that can benefit, another unit that can benefit from. See a blue oil bomb here. Gonna do a little bit of damage. I think it's good to have oil bombs and stuff, even if we only have blue and white consumables in this tournament. Especially on the tanky units, where the red pills wouldn't have done too much damage anyway. Might be a good move. Tying down the Necromancer here, but it also prevents him from using the same climb up point. Could go down there and take care of the zombie that attacked, unless he has another idea. Patricia. Not much of a Skaven name, is it? Rat Ogre is completely blocking the path. Can't get too far. Alright. Yeah, this is the thing. So he blocked his own jumping up point here. What does he want to do with this warp card then? Remember that this enemy warp guard, the Betrayer, is in a parry stance. So getting rid of that is not an efficient use of the red pills. I'm gonna try that anyway with a Vital Strike. It's surprising. Vital Strike plus 10% critical hit chance. But that might be good actually, since Slaviour is known to completely forgo critical hit resistance in favor of stun resistance most of the time. See the Vampire Thrall, the last one to move here, going into and tying up the other Globadier. Staggering Blow. Actually, that could be really nice here. Staggering Blow, especially with masters like that, it reduces your initiative by 30, and the thing is that this is stackable, so if you use it more than once, it actually lowers it down. This unit had 91 initiative. You can see that Slaviour is checking that out right now. He's gonna use a Crimson Shade. He's already lowered that down, so he is 61. And so if you use the Crimson Shade, it's still not enough. And now you're down to 31 initiative, and you're 43, so you're gonna get 2 attacks, a second round of attacks off before that Globadier starts to move. Which means that that Globadier might actually be dead. If you have any healing, I would use that. Mostly open wounds and madcaps and a Crimson Shade. Crimson Shade, of course, won't actually influence this anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
A new round has started.
But it might have been much more, if he had thought about that, Slaviour, he could have just used a single Staggering Blow and then used 3 attacks. So he'd done a little bit more damage, and he would still have been ahead of that Globadier. So a bit of a mistake there in planning it out. Now he had a red pill left that he didn't have anything to do with, which could have been another attack. Yeah, that's the issue right now. I mean, just a single Poison Globe here could have finished that hero off. That's really not worth it. Is that a white healing potion? I think so. I think the blue one actually heals you 20. Bit odd to see something like that. See exhaustion here. I don't know why. Does he have a mastered stance? He better have if he used... doing a bit of damage on this zombie, but it's... That's not enough, yeah. 10% from the defensive stance, 10% melee resistance. Might be lucky though and kill off that vampire thrall. Remember, she is only in a parry stance. Oh yeah, I forgot. The Globadier is not gonna move before it's the vampire thrall's turn again. Black Hunger again, followed by Daredevil. Doing a bit of damage. Ouch, 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 ouch. I don't think you're gonna live. Are you? No, you're not. You're not. You could see that from how the wounds bar were moving back and forth here. Can he get up? Yeah, he could get past the warp guard. He doesn't have any unit that can order him around now. The assassin is dead. Wants to try and save the Globadiers as quickly as possible here. Still think that one of these Globadiers is in deep trouble. The one engaged to the vampire thrall, but the other one might actually survive. Alright, alright. Madcaps. Mastered insults. Pretty good combination here. Already at 93% chance now to hit. Completely neglecting all of that melee resistance of the warp guard. Switch weapons. Wow, that's actually quite heavy in damage. Yeah, this is gonna hurt. Daredevil, like, oh wow, wow. You can see it, 179 to 198. You want to do yeah, alright. Was a bit lucky here with the parry fail. 164 damage really hurts. Well, if you had adrenaline rush, imagine if you just since with 200 weapons you do more damage. Whoa, 2 hit points left. You do more damage on your first attack, so it would have been more sense to actually use a strong blow first and then use a regular attack. And since the strong blow also has some parry bypass, could have been more reasonable. I guess if you want to guarantee damage, you just attack once and to use up the parry stance and then use strong blow. So it's an opportunity. It depends on how much you want to gamble. We're to try and free this unit up. Mastered Frenzy plus 30% extra damage, and that's 30% off the base weapon. So many people always get this wrong, like they think that the total damage is increased by 30%. No, it's not. It's 30% extra from the base weapon, and since the axe is doing some, I think it's 13 or plus 14 damage with an axe when using Master Frenzy per hit. It's still decent. I swear this setup might be the worst case for my warband, says Dryzz. Well, there are players we've seen so far who had a much bigger emphasis on range than Dryzz has. I think they would have a much harder time facing, for example, Dryzz on this particular map and deployment. But I think Dryzz is doing well so far. It's he's still, well, in the lead technically, having done 2 kills. 2 henchmen are down. Only having suffered his leader to go down in return. Could focus a bit on the Rat Ogre here. The Rat Ogre keeps damaging himself, you know, the exhaustion is 30, Black Hunger is 30 every time. seems to have a good chance here. Just making sure that Ernst has taken a lot of damage, so that he's easier to kill for the vampire thrall coming up. Exploit positioning is kind of a fun thing to see. You know, you rarely see that. Also, let's see if I have that animation in my list. Yeah, I do. Let's bring that up. Saw a stun here. It's gonna be bad. It reduces range resistance by 20%. Can only be used while not engaged. You can see that this Globadier is built entirely around headshot. This headshot reduces your chance to hit, and using explode positioning to make sure that the headshot land. Is the tactic here by Slaviour. Gonna leave him under the stairs? No, it's not. So one of the Globadiers is stunned, and the other one is about to die from the vampire thrall whenever it's her turn coming up soon. And zombie that's engaged to the Globadier is going to do quite a bit of damage, probably using Adrenaline Rush for a third attack. Etheric Focus plus 10% spellcasting chance. Gonna couple that with Quick Casting, minus 15% casting chance, so minus 5% total, but his next spell costs 1 less, and with his Spell of Doom here, it's gonna finish off that. Indeed. Gonna finish off the Warp Guard, tying the game up. 1 henchman and 1 leader down for Dryzz, and 2 henchmen are killed off on Slaviour's side. So Slaviour has lost 2 henchmen, Dryzz has lost 1 henchman and 1 leader. Call of Vanal here, you remember that plus 4 movement for the zombie and plus 20% armor, making them pretty tanky and maneuverable. See Rotten Touch. Not the greatest of spells. It's actually not that good of a spell total. It doesn't do too much damage. And yes, it does increase its damage by 5% each time you have a disease carrier debuff from a ghoul on a target, but it's not that much damage. I remember I did a math on this, and it's between 1 and 2 extra damage for each debuff. And you know, if you're taking 40 or 50 damage per debuff, then you don't have too many wounds left remaining. So you're just doing like if you have 3 debuffs doing, you know, 3 to 6 extra damage, it's not a good combo. So it's a bit surprising to see Slaviour have that. Maybe they didn't have anything else that they could use. Drain Life is by far the most popular spell. Stores the wounds and does quite a bit of damage. But Spell of Doom is nice. I like Spell of Doom. Spell of Doom is also pretty slick, since it doesn't reduce any casting chance and doesn't improve any Sense Curse. It might be that it's unfinished as the spell, since it lacks them, or it's a handy feature that's supposed to be part of the spell. So it's easier to cast than any other spell, and it's less curse prone than any other spell. And it's a good strong spell for doing area damage. I can do around a bit over 30 damage per use of it. So if you can, and considering that, for example, the lightning of the Warlock is considered one of the strongest spells, and that does 60 damage, so that's 20 damage per red pill. So if you with Spell of Doom, which does 30 damage for 4 red pills, it means that if you could manage to hit 3 enemies or 2 enemies with quick casting, then you're equaling the lightning blast in damage per red pill. So you can see that there is a lot of potential there for being much better, especially as people tend to group up their units. If you can hit 3 or 4 targets with the Spell of Doom, you're doing really good damage. And with quick casting, that's three of them per turn. It's a good combo. Yeah, didn't quite get that unit, and I will see what happens now. Sylvia, 22 wounds left remaining, still going strong. Probably gonna finish off Ernest here, unless he is really lucky and she misses a few 95%. Doesn't seem to happen right now. At least doesn't have a chance to do a critical, which is kind of cool because a lot of ranged units tend to have low critical hit resistance, and apparently just Globadiers are not of that variety. So we see the Globadier going down here. Why would you go in there? Why? I wonder if he thinks that he has adrenaline rush and forgot about that. Well, if so, if he had adrenaline rush, he could pull off another attack and kill that unit. Yes, but then he would die in return. Just disengage. Yeah, you can disengage for free since it's stunned. Just go away, run far back into the tunnel to avoid the rat ogre, because you know that that rat ogre is gonna punch through that zombie like it wasn't even there. And then no, don't move away. Move away. Don't stay there. It doesn't give you anything to stay there. That's just useless. I think that's a mistake by Slaviour. Why not just run away? You need to preserve morale. Just run away into the tunnel. You had lots of movement, could have worked out good. Yeah, I forgot to could see what he was thinking there, but it's like Slaviour already considers the thrall dead. Why? Like, preserve her instead. And even if the rat ogre runs after the vampire thrall and kills her in the tunnels, then the rat ogre will be out of action for at least another turn before it can come back into the fight, because it has to move all of that space back. So I don't really agree with the choice here. But it's probably not going to make a difference. We're going to see second Globadier going down probably. See armor break. Very nice. Nice skill as well. Reducing a bit of armor. Let's bring that up and just have a look. So it's just 10% actually, and 25% if it's mastered, but it's not mastered when it comes from a henchman. Another vital strike. Seems Dryzz is the master of special offensive skills. He has a lot of them. Precise strike, vital strike, armor break, strong blow. Of course, adrenaline rush. It's fun. You rarely see
a new round has started.
Henchmen with this many choices available to. Okay, we see. Yeah. Oh, this is funny. Still under the influence of frenzy, it never really goes away unless you're finding yourself not seeing an enemy upon the start of the turn. Good parry. Less good counter. I hope we don't desync here. We've seen a few desyncs due to counter attacks. It's one of the most common way to desync. You're just clicking counter attack too soon. Just wait for a few seconds instead and don't go around trying to sneak around a corner to avoid an ambush. If you just avoid those things, you almost never desync. Two main contributors to desyncs. Doing a little bit of damage. I think Schmeiss is in deep trouble here. We have to watch out for what the morale is here for Dryzz. Remember that without his leader and without any of the Globadiers, he is without a unit that can do a route test. So he automatically fails if he goes down. And that's not too much left here. You see, if he loses yeah, if he loses one more unit, he's gonna end up at 74. So he can lose 2 more units. And then he's done for. And Schmeiss is very likely to be killed here. This zombie is not gonna live through that. No chance at all. And this is the... I don't think that this thrall is gonna live through it either. Bit unnecessary to use that. Maybe. Alright, 77% chance to hit. Alright, it was a good use. So, rapid turn of events here. Vampire Thrall and a zombie down for Slaviour. So Dryzz is catching up. Gonna see, but it's still a far way. I still feel that Slaviour has a control of this game since it's just a Rat Ogre, and as soon as the Rat Ogre goes down, it's not gonna have any offensive power left to him. Schmeiss is definitely going down, and when Schmeiss goes down, it's game over for Dryzz. Oh wait, no, sorry about that. If Schmeiss goes down, oh, I can even fire at him from here and kill him off. Then it's just one more kill and then Dryzz is done for. Pretty good headshots here. I can't reach anyone with exploit positioning this time. Exploit positioning and shurikens work very well in tandem here, I think. Since exploit positioning has a range of 30 and shuriken's range of 25. Oh, really? Gonna focus on the... trying to stun the Rat Ogre here. Mark of Dismay is not gonna do anything against him, since he's immune. Also see Infused Globe being available here for... not so much luck. He had a bit more luck with Assassin. That was 60% chance, this is 48. It evens out. Trying to move into more higher ground. Valentine is actually a bit hurt. Remember, he's gonna take another 30 damage from Adrenaline Rush. I don't know what the purpose of that is. I mean, plus 20% dodge chance, yeah. Chances are pretty high that the Rat Ogre has a weak spot for 15% bypass and some other enchantments, perhaps to like Rune of Speed to bypass dodge even more. And the heavy armor is certainly not gonna help. I think that was a bit of a useless thing. If he had not cast that spell here, he could have probably shot down that Warp Guard instead. Could have had one more shot available too. Alright. Adrenaline rush. Oh, I'm gonna use quick casting and rotten touch though. I think so. This is probably why he likes rotten touch, because you can use up leftover. Yeah, still can't kill him though. And the magic resistance saves him. Has a pretty good magic resistance for a henchman. Like, it was really good. You should have used the reload there, I think. Just prepare yourself a bit more. It doesn't really. Yeah, go back and pick up the reload. All right. Bit lucky here. Not that these two are gonna kill each other soon. Anyway. So we have two henchmen who are nearly dead for Dryzz, and if he loses those two, he's out. Then he has lost his first game, and he will go down and face... he will face... so if Dryzz loses out here, he's gonna face JoJo's, who has a maximized Worldman 2, so this is a really strong group. It might actually... should have maybe mentioned this group as the group of death. While Slaviour will take on Karond, a player he has beaten a few times already. It's gonna be a bit of a interesting game. They were always bound to face each other in the winners game anyway. But they have a bit of a rivalry between them. It's gonna be fun to see. But this game is not over yet. Let's see if Schmeiss might die here. 40 damage, 3 times is 120. I might die. Oh. Doing a very offensive-minded move here. Slaviour, I kind of like this. I like that all of his units seem to have this tankiness, and then follow it up with secondary slots that do really high amount of damage. Like both the Vampire and the Vampire Thrall started like that, and they both have Daredevil available to them to do ridiculous amount of damage. And all of the zombies seems to follow in the same pattern here. Switch weapons, dual wielding probably Axis of Perforation, and then Adrenaline Rush for a second attack, and then just go to town on that. We saw that against one of the Globadiers, we see that here against the Warp Guard Schmeiss. Nearly dead Warp Guard, what can you do? See it, he really removes a lot of the parry success chance here, down to 34%, but it's not enough. Saving the 2 red pills for Web of Steel, or a single counterattack. Then I think he might be able to get in here because the Rat Ogre is standing on the side now, so he's not blocking the entire path. Gonna see what this unit does. Saving the terror test. So Schmeiss survives. I think Patricia might have gone in there if he... yeah, it might be that Schmeiss is about to disengage here and be replaced by Patricia, who has more wounds available. Has to stay out of sight though, of all of the ranged from Slaviour. Still have the Globadier and the Necromancer lurking about. Even if this is quite a bottleneck. I love this map, it looks so nice, doesn't it? Alright, going down there.
A new round has started.
I think this is the end of Schmeiss. Yep. So what is that, 74 morale? Yep. One more death for Dryzz and he is down. Careful approach. It's not gonna be useful anymore. Oh, it's nice skill to have though. 61 damage. Ouch. It really hurts. Remember that he used, I think he used Adrenaline Rush to get here too? So he's gonna take 30 damage. And then he wants to use Black Hunger, so that costs 30 more wounds. Gonna use Adrenaline Rush. Yeah. Doing a bit more damage, but I think now that the Rat Ogre is coming up, he's definitely gonna kill the vampire here. He can easily do that. Just 2 hits and he's down. That's a big hit, but he's going down himself, so it's gonna be really difficult for the remaining warp guards here to really do anything, especially kill wise. He's lost all of his offensive power. Yeah, I might as well use I don't know why you're using that. So we're gonna see Leo here, the Rat Ogre, killing off the vampire. Going for Black Hunger. Going for Daredevil. And now just kill the vampire. Oh, why are you hitting the zombie? This is... I mean, yes, it doesn't really matter right now, but... could have killed either one of them, but... if you have an option, go for the high profile targets. It doesn't matter, because I think that that was the last unit that Dryzz is gonna move with. He's gonna be getting rid of this Rat Ogre, is gonna die. Yeah, gonna die right now actually. Yeah, and that means the game is over. Goodbye. It means that Dryzz has lost and he will be facing JoJo's in the losers game, and if he loses that, he's out of the tournament. Gonna finish off and produce some bit of... I used to do this a bit more. I used to do this as well in tournaments, but now I'm just trying to avoid this, because I think it's a good step for the tournament format that kills doesn't count anymore, and it's just about winning or losing. So really, this is just, you know, making the numbers seem a little bit better, but it's so useless. No one cares if you beat someone 10-0 or 9-8. It's just, the most important thing is winning or losing. That's all it actually is. Can't pick up the banner here. So I hope that if it was me, I would nowadays I would just end the turn with all of my units, since I know that Dryzz is gonna fail the morale test. He can't succeed at it. I know that's a bit odd, since when I played in the last tournament I didn't at some points, but I since started to think about that. Numbers doesn't matter, and it's just nice to finish off the game as soon as possible. If you know it's over, it's over. Gonna see the vampire do something here, and then the vampire follow the necromancer, and then we are done. Alright. Can probably reach this warp guard and do a little bit of damage on him. Disorienting Veil. That's not gonna do enough damage. I'm gonna pick the Madcaps, there you have them. So a strong blow and a normal attack. And a miss. I don't know, might that actually have been able to kill him? Yeah, it could have. If he had hit, it could actually have killed him off. Not gonna see that now, and I hope this doesn't take too long. It's gonna be interesting to see Slaviour against Kiddenpaw and JoJo's against Dryzz. I think all 4 players in this group have actually performed really well. JoJo's will be a very big underdog against Dryzz. He has both of them have good warbands, but JoJo's really didn't. Yeah, I will take that back. He didn't perform that well against Kiddenpaw, doing tons of mistakes, and I think that Dryzz is bound to defeat him and knock him out of the tournament, and then he will get to face whoever lost between Slaviour and Kiddenpaw for a final chance of getting into round of 16. And anything can happen. I only do hope that in such a game that Dryzz does get the map that he wants, so he can perform at his best. It was nice seeing Dryzz, and I hope that he will do well against JoJo's and in the future of the tournament and come back. Congratulations to Slaviour, and thank you for watching. See you later.